Hey, I'm Liv and welcome back to my channel Endless Pages. Welcome to another video. Okay, 2 disclaimers before I start this video. One, the first, you probably noticed the lighting. I'm filming this at night time and I don't have a ring light. It's still on the to-do list to do. Maybe next paycheck I will get a proper ring light. But yeah, I'm filming this at night and the only light I have is my the light in my room. So this whole video is probably very yellow orangey, so I apologize. Just please bear with me. And 2, you can probably hear I am still getting over a cold and I've hit that stage in my cold where just everything coming out of my nose, TMI, I know, but I sound very nasally, that's why. And if this video is a lot of just me saying one sentence and then cutting, it's because I've had to either sneeze, cough, or blow my nose. So I apologize. Those are 2 disclaimers I thought I would just put out before starting this video. We're starting this video with good vibes. I'm really thriving at the moment, as you can tell. So welcome to this video, which is the mid-year book freakout tag. I cannot believe it's already time to do this again. How crazy. This is one of my favorite tags. I love watching people do this. I will obviously tag the original creators in the comments below if you would like to check out the original videos. And if you'd like to do this video yourself, I will put the questions as well in the comments. Just in case you want to do a video or you just want to do it by yourself. Answer the questions, have a good reflection of your reading for the first half of the year, which is crazy to think of. My gosh. Anyway, let's just jump straight into it. I'm gonna go as quickly as I can before I sneeze. Okay, question number 1 is the best book you read so far in 2022. Let's scooch over so I can pop the, actually no. This one's in arm's length reach, so I can hold this one up. For the best book so far, I had a really good think, and the book that came to mind was The Bear and the Nightingale by Catherine Ardern. This is the first book in the, Nethernight? No, that's J. Christoph. I always do that. Oh, what's this series called? The first book in the, I'm off to a great start. The Bear and the, I'm not editing this out, which is, Winter Night. The first book in the Winter Night trilogy. Oh my gosh. Can I blame this on being sick? I got sick brain. Yeah, so the reason this was the book that I chose was just because ever since I've read it, I can't stop thinking about it. This book is beautiful. I'm always frightened to go into books like this, especially in the adult genre, because I just feel like I won't be able to fully appreciate the writing, and I'm always a bit like reluctant to go into books like this, but this was a book that I was really able to appreciate the writing style. The writing in this is beautiful. It's sensational. It really transports you to the location. So if you don't know, it's set in Russia, and this like village in like a kind of rural, like foresty area, and it's this little village, and just the descriptive language is beautiful, and you really feel like you're in this village and you really feel that isolation. Yeah, this book is stunning, and we follow this Russian family, and there's a servant that tells the children of these families these stories of magic and all that kind of stuff that's really frowned upon by the church. And then Vasya is the youngest child and the youngest girl of the family as well, and she knows that these are more than stories. She can see the spirits that guard her home, and she can sense a growing darkness in the forest as well. Yeah, so it's Russian folklore retelling. It's absolutely stunning. Like, this has had an impact on me and left an impression in my mind that I just keep going back to and thinking about this book. And as well as the writing style, the other thing that really got me about this book was the blurb really doesn't do justice all the different topics that this book talks about, and does in such a beautiful way. Mainly the 2 themes of gender and gender roles and all that kind of stuff, as well as religion. Really interesting discussions about religion and that balance of religion and folklore, which I find super fascinating in that kind of setting where there's still that traditional folklore stories, and in this tiny little village where there's so much belief in folklore, but then balancing that with the modernization of the country with religion kind of becoming wider and its influence being wider. So I really like that discussion of that balance, as well as, like I said, the discussion of gender in this book. Vasya, they call her a wild child because she doesn't adhere to traditional gender, I guess, behaviour. And yeah, she's not, I guess you would say, she's not timid and quiet and well behaved, like typical things you think young girls are supposed to behave like. So I found that that was a really interesting setting to discuss that in, and I didn't expect that and didn't know that coming in, so I was pleasantly surprised by that. And her relationship with her father and his balance of knowing Vasya's personality and that conflict in his head between his children following their gender expectations. Yeah. So yeah, as you can tell, this book is really one of my favorite of the year, obviously. It's just, yeah, it really left a mark in my mind, and it's the writing is sensational. Like, it's gorgeous. I did like a bit of a combination of audio and physical reading along, when I could be bothered to pick up the book or when I had the chance to. So yeah, this is definitely my favorite. There was a few others that I was like, but I just didn't think the writing is on the same level as this book. So I haven't picked up, it's a trilogy, I haven't picked up the sequel. I have it sitting there and reading. I need to. I'm very, very excited to see where it goes. Yeah. There's also fantasy with the folklore and the magic as well that I didn't say. That's also an amazing part of this as well. This is a stunning book. Like, absolutely stunning. And I love this edition I have as well. Yeah, so this has been my favourite read of 2022 so far. Question number 2 is, what's the best sequel you've read so far in 2022? For that one, I'm going to say As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This is the third and final book in the Good Girls Guide to Murder trilogy. This is a trilogy. I have officially rated all 3 books 5 stars, which I'm so happy about. So I think I was so reluctant and put off picking up this book because I had just such high expectations for it after rating the previous 2 books 5 stars, and I was like, I really don't want to be disappointed by this book and by the way this book ends. And I was pleasantly surprised by this book. I was so like reluctant to go in and start it, but I'm so glad I finally did this year because 5 stars. So the whole trilogy for me is a 5-star read. It's such a fun series. The reason I'm saying this is my favourite sequel was because I was a bit as unsure going in as well, because I was like, how is it going to set itself apart from the previous 2 books? Because the previous 2 books are kind of structure-wise similar. There's a case, there's an investigation, and yeah. So I was like, how are we going to make that a little bit different in this book? Because otherwise it might feel like a little bit repetitive. And this book was definitely different from the previous 2 books, which I enjoyed. It was refreshing. This book as well was a lot darker, and I think the stakes were raised, which I think was perfect to do it in the final book. Yeah, the stakes were a lot higher, and what I also liked about this book was yeah, first of all, the final mystery was scary as hell. It like had me on the edge of my seat and so nervous for the characters, like had me freaking out. And like I said, it was a lot darker, and the main character Pip is basically inserting herself into these investigations and dealing with very dangerous like murder cases. So obviously there's going to be consequences for that, and it was good to see, not good to see that she faced consequences, but good to see that there was consequences for her actions, because she was investigating murderers. So obviously, you know, it's not going to go unnoticed. So it's good to see that there was kind of some consequences for her behaviour in that way, and that I liked the aspect they explored about her mental state in this book because of all the dark and horrifying things she's been through and seen as a result of her investigations and as a result of her, I guess, stubbornness to find the truth no matter what. So that's what made this a very fun and scary end. So yeah, I've officially rated all 3 books in this trilogy 5 stars. If you're looking for a fun YA murder mystery, I would highly recommend this series. And I loved the like mixed media, the like recordings of there's a podcast in the previous 2 books and the recordings of that and the interview transcript, and this one had photos, so it, like, she was taking photos of things she was seeing, and like, so it was an actual photo, so it made you look like you were looking at what she was looking at, and just police reports. I love all that mixed media stuff. It makes it so fun, makes you feel more involved in the investigation. So yeah, that was my favourite sequel so far. Question number 3. What's a new release you haven't read yet but want to? This one's a new-ish release. I'm going to go with The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axio. The plot thoroughly intrigues me. So this is about this village that has been ravaged by storms for generations, and they believe it's because of this sea god that he once protected their village, and they believe he's angered, and that's why he's kind of hitting their village with these storms. So every year they sacrifice a bride from the village because they believe eventually they will find the sea god's one true bride, and that he will stop the storms. And then we have our main character, Shim. Oh no, sorry, Shim's not our main character. Our main character is Mina, and Mina's brother's beloved Shim is chosen this year to be the sacrifice, and Shim's brother knows that to interfere is like a death sentence, but he does so anyway, and he wants to interfere with the sacrifice, and Mina then follows her brother, knowing as well knowing that to interfere is a death sentence, and she saves her brother by throwing herself into the water in Shim's place. So then she gets swept away to the spirit realm, a magical city of lesser gods and beasts. She finds that the sea god is trapped in an enchanted sleep, and with the help of a mysterious young man and a motley crew of demons, gods and spirits, Mina sets out to wake him and bring an end to the storms once and for all. She doesn't have much time. A human cannot live long in the land of spirits, and there are those who would do anything to keep the sea god from waking. So it said The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea is a magical feminist retelling of a classic Korean legend. So I'm really intrigued by this, and I ordered it a while ago and it was just out of stock. So I've waited weeks and it's finally arrived. So now that I finally actually have my hands on it, I can hope to pick it up soon. Question number 4 is most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I have a few anticipated. I don't know what's my most anticipated. I don't know. Like, I'm excited for Carrie Soto is Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Just because it's Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm excited for the prequel that just got announced to They Both Die at the End. I can't remember the name. I'll pop a photo of it. Whatever the prequel's called. I'm excited for Babel. I think that's how you say it, by R.F. Kuang, because I just recently read the first 2 books in the Poppy War trilogy and really liked that. I'm excited for the Heartstopper yearbook, which I think comes out this year as well. I don't know. I don't have a most anticipated. Those are some ones that I'm excited for. Oh, and the sequel to Blood Like Magic by, I can't remember. I'll pop it there. I'm excited for that one too. Question number 5. Biggest disappointment. Okay, that one's easy. Aurora's End by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. This is the 3rd and final book in the Aurora Rising trilogy, or Aurora cycle, I think. Yeah. So I rated the first 2 books 5 stars. Aurora Rising and Aurora Burning. I couldn't think of the names. Those are the first 2 books. 5 stars. So fun. Such a fast-paced, fun, sci-fi, found family, you know, all the stuff I love. The 3rd and final book was such a letdown. I rated it 3.5 stars. Yeah, and that's kind of being generous. I really didn't like this book. One, there was a toxic kind of relationship. I mean, the flirting, if you know who I'm talking about, the flirting started in the previous book. with a certain two characters, and I just feel like the female character is not a good person, nor did she improve upon her morals in this book in no way, shape or form. Yeah, I just didn't like her. There was that couple that I didn't like. There was some tropes that are very typical science fiction tropes that you'll find in most science fiction books and shows that I just feel like it was too easy and not at all creative. I was like, you've seen this done a million trillion times before in science fiction. And one of the tropes, without spoiling it, because it's a massive spoiler if I say what trope it is not really my favorite sci-fi trope. So that was a massive letdown because that was a massive, massive part of the book. So you couldn't really avoid that. And that's how the book started off as well. So it was a disappointment from like the first page. I was like, oh no, this is not a good start. And the ending was just really anticlimactic in my opinion, and not enough of the crew involved. I feel like if you build up this storyline across 2.5 books and then that's how you end it, it just felt very anticlimactic and yeah, just not satisfying. Yeah, this book was a major letdown. I just didn't enjoy reading it at all. I feel like maybe 3.5 stars was being a little bit generous. I am very bad at giving books not generous reviews. Star ratings. So yeah, this book was just a major letdown. It's so disappointed. It stings because the first 2 books were amazing. The first one was so fun and fast paced. The second one was so emotional and beautiful. And the third one was just, yeah, it sucked. It really sucked, and I hate so much saying that it sucked, but it did. I just didn't like the way it ended. I thought it was a pretty shitty book compared to the previous 2. Yeah, it's really sad, but that's my biggest disappointment so far. Hopefully I don't read anything worse than that this year. Question number 6 is biggest surprise. For this one, I think I'm gonna go with, I don't know where it is, so I'm just gonna pop it on the screen. Blackout. This is like a short story collection. It's contemporary romance, so that's why I'm picking it as my biggest surprise, was because I'm surprised at how much I enjoyed this book, because time and time again I say I do not like contemporary romance, but this book was adorable. So yeah, it's a collection of short stories and it's set in New York during a blackout, and it's mainly stories following people of colour in New York, and it's little different stories of romance throughout this one blackout, and some of all the stories are interconnected, which I love and cute. You see later at the end of the book certain characters pass certain characters, so yeah, it's cute. Like characters pass characters from other stories. This book, I read it in like half an hour one night, and yeah, it was really, really wholesome. There was like 2 stories that I was like and the other ones I absolutely adored. There was different types of relationships, and there was one beautiful story about more finding herself outside of the relationship and focusing on herself and her self-love, which was really cute message. And yeah, they were just all so adorable and wholesome, and I think I just at the time really needed something sweet. And I think I liked it because the stories were short and sweet. I don't think I could read a whole contemporary romance story like that, but when you're reading them in short, sweet, cute little stories, I think that's when I can deal with it and handle it. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this book. I had a goofy grin on my face the whole time I was reading it, so that was my biggest surprise. Question number 7, favorite new author, debut or new to you? For this one, I'm going to say new to me. You can see his books there. I'm going to say TJ Klune. I've read 2 of his books so far this year, The House on the Cerulean Sea and Under the Whispering Door, both 5 stars. These are both books that are quite different in plot, but very similar in theme. Is that the right word? They both explore grief, and no they don't. That's a lie. They both explore self-reflection. and they both do it in different but beautiful ways, and these are both stories that I really feel like are super character driven, and yeah, I'm kind of surprised that I was okay with the lack of plot in these two books, because normally I would say I'm a bit more plot driven than character driven, but yeah, these were both books that touched me. Like, they were both beautiful, and they had such like profound, beautiful discussions in them between the characters, and just both these books were so great about two different adult men, despite their age, being able to, I guess, reflect and looking on themselves and make changes and, you know, say I'm not too old or set in my ways to, yeah, reflect and adapt and change who I am, adjust some of my morals and want to be a better person. So they both were beautiful. One of them, The House in the Australian Sea, is more of like a, yeah, it's kind of a found family. They're both a little bit found family. That one I would say is more found family. It's about this guy, and he's like a social worker for the Department of Magical Youth, and he goes to this orphanage to check whether it should open or close. Yeah, and it's a bit of queer romance, and he really connects with the kids as well. And then Under the Whispering Door is about this guy who's dead. That's not a spoiler. And he ends up at this house, and this guy tells him, I'm going to help you pass on. And at first he's really reluctant to pass on. So yeah, they're beautiful. I sobbed for the last 50 pages of both the books. They were so touching. I love TJ Klune's, the way he wrote characters and the way he wrote characters' conversations. So yeah, I want to read everything he's ever written now, because wow. Question number 8 is newest fictional crush. I don't know what to say for this one. I feel like I haven't read a lot of books this year that have had like fictional crush potential. I feel like the only one I could say is Jaren from The Prison Healer, which I just recently read. Yeah, so we don't super like, just shaking the camera so much, we don't super get to know him that well in the first book. He's very mysterious and you don't know a lot about him in the first one, but I feel like he's definitely going to be one that that's going to turn into a fictional crush as I continue on with the series. From the little bits I've seen, I can see it definitely going that way. I feel like what I've seen so far is a very like caring person and very passionate, and one I can see that he's already like wanting to protect our main girl and stuff. So the potential is definitely there. So I'm going to say Jaren for that one. Question number 9 is newest favourite character. I'm going to say Anya from the Spy Family manga. She's just like, how can she not be? She is so cute and so sweet, and I love her. I love her personality. I think she's bloody adorable, and I think she has such a cute personality, especially in the anime. It just pops in the anime. I really, really like her. I like her character design as well. It's really cute design. Yeah, she's sweet, and protect Anya at all costs because I love her so much. So I'll admit I might have lost count of what question we're up to. I think question 10, and question 10 is a book that made you cry. So I was going to say these two, but I already said them for another question. The House in the Australian Sea and Under the Whispering Door. I already told you I sobbed. So I'm going to go with This Is How You Lose Your Time War instead. This is by Max Gladstone and Amal El Merham. Oh my god, I loved this book so much. So this is like a short one, so only like 195 pages. I was in the car coming home from a holiday, and I literally just popped in some classical music because there was radio and talking and I couldn't concentrate, and read this whole book, and my gosh, it impacted me. But do not ask me to explain the plot, because I couldn't tell you the plot of this book, but that is the kind of majority experience that we all kind of had, people that have all read this book. It's not really about the plot. You don't really have to know what's going on. If you don't know what's going on, it doesn't really matter. This is like a science fiction novel, and we have two women, Red and Blue, are on like opposite sides of this galactic war, and then one day one of them leaves kind of a letter on the battlefield as like a taunt, and then the letters, they start writing letters back and forth to each other, and then the letters start to grow into something more, which, you know, puts them both at risk. So yeah, this book is mainly about the letters and the relationship, and it's stunning, and the ending had me bawling my eyes out, absolutely bawling my eyes out. I couldn't stop crying. It really, really got to me. It was a good sob. Erin from Shebas and Shelves, I was talking to her about it on someone's reading sprints at the time when I had literally just read it, and she explained it quite well. She said the letters and the relationship, the way that they talk, is very like sensory, like the descriptions, and it's always stuck with me the way she said that, because it's such a good description of what it was, and I could never put it quite like the way Erin put it. But yeah, it's like beautiful, and I sobbed. Sob. It was so good. Question number 11 question mark is a book that made you happy. I guess I should have said Blackout for this question, right? Oh well, too late. I'm gonna say instead just the Crown of where is it? Crown of Gilded Bones by Jennifer L. Armentrout, the third book in the From Blood and Ash series. This book made me happy because it was smart, and I was laughing along with it just because of how in shock I was about the two horniest characters you will ever read. It was fun. I had so much fun reading this book, and reading the smutty scenes was fun as well. And I was, the ending was like fantastic, came out of nowhere, this full-on like fantasy ending. So I had a great time reading this book. I have a great time reading every book in this series. It's my guilty pleasure. I don't read like a lot of smut, so when I do, it's all the much sweeter. Yeah, it's fun. It's a fun series. Is it a good series? Is it fun? Absolutely. I want to say question number 12. Most beautiful book you've read so far this year. I was going to say The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, but that's boring. I already given that answer for another question. So I'm going to say Electra by Jennifer Saint. It's simple but beautiful. It's just something about the gold that really like gets to me, and I just love like the gold on this dress, and I'm a sucker for like a green dress. Yeah, I think it's absolutely stunning, and it's so shiny, and just visually I like the green and the gold just work so well. It's beautiful. And then it's on like the pillars on the back as well. Yeah. I was very excited to get my hands on this, but salty because I went into Harry Harthog, and if you're Aussie, you know Harry Harthog is one of the more pricier shops, but I go in there because I feel like they just have different stuff from Dimmicks, and the customer service in my local Harry Harthog is already like always on point. So I do like to go in there because it feels like, I don't know, it feels like a little more high-end than Dimmicks sometimes if I want to feel fancy when I'm book shopping locally. So yeah, I went in there and paid like $33, which is like almost the average price now for a paperback in Australia. And then I went into Big W and saw it for like $16, and I was like, I'm not going to go return this book, like, but yeah, salty, but oh well, it's worth it. She's gorgeous. The final question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? Man, do you guys have like an hour for me to sit here and list them all? So many series that I've still not continued on with. The rest of the Diviner series by Libby Gray. I need to read the rest of the Knife of Never Letting Go series. I don't know if that's a series name, but these ones. I need to read The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, like I said. I need to read the rest of the Blood and Ash, like the prequels, and then the next book, The War of Two Queens. What else do I need to read? I still need to start the Throne of Glass series. I need to continue on with my Cassandra Clare books because I'm so behind on Cassandra Clare books. What else? I need to read the Nevermore series. I need to read the Amari and the Night Brothers is another priority that I haven't read. Oh god, what else have I got? I need to read Portrait of a Thief. That's a priority that I still haven't read. City of Brass. I need to read the next book in the next book after The Bear and the Nightingale, The Girl in the Tower. Yeah, I could go on and on and on, but I'll stop it there. But lots and lots and lots more priorities still to go. So those are my answers to the mid-year book freakout tag. This is always a fun video to do, to reflect back and actually look at what I've read so far this year and be like, I've read so many great books, so many different books. I've been surprised by liking so many different books. It's such like a positive way to look back and be like, wow, look at all the amazing stuff that I've read so far this year. So this has actually been fun to film. I apologize again for my voice being incredibly nasally, and for the chef's kiss beautiful lighting that this video has had. I'm gonna go because it's bedtime and I need to go lie down. But thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know in the comments. I like the question, what's a book that surprised you? So what's a book that surprised you this year? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. As always, all my social media links are in the description below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed, and if you'd like to subscribe, that would be very much appreciated, and then you can see whenever I post a new video. So I'm gonna go to bed. Good night. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on whatever I post next. Bye!